Okay, so today we're taking a look at Forspoken. Now, this game had a little bit of a rough patch during its development cycle, and leading up to its launch in the past few weeks, it has garnered a lot of negativity for some reason. But what I'm most excited about this PC port is the inclusion of Microsoft Direct Storage, the first ever in a PC game launch title. Without getting too technical, and to put it in the most simple term, the API will help the game load really, really fast. Something that is similar to what we expect from the current generation of console right now when it comes to loading time, seamless transition. Now, to get full advantage of Microsoft Direct Storage, you do need a PCI Express 4.0 or 5.0 NVMe SSD, Windows 11, and the game does have to support DirectX 12 as well. Now, my gaming PC does happen to have the Samsung 980 Pro SSD NVMe Gen 4. Do a quick test to see how fast it loads with direct storage. Now, this particular save file, the resolution is 3840 by 1600 ultra wide with everything on max, ray tracing on max, HDR. So let's take a look at how fast it loads. Alright, so as you can see, it took 2.3 seconds, so that is pretty impressive. And also saving the game and fast traveling is practically instant. So hopefully in the future, more AAA open world title will utilize this technology. Alright, so let's move on to the ultra wide. And as advertised, the game does support 21 by 9 and 32 by 9 in gameplay, but also it was alluded that it might just be the gameplay, and it turns out that way. Cutscenes and menus and everything are still constrained to 16 by 9 with pillar box. As for the performance, it is not very consistent. You'll notice that there will be stutters here and there when you're entering cutscenes and then back to gameplay. Make sure that if you have anything that is GPU intensive program running in the background, make sure those are off. I noticed that I gained a bit more performance and a little slightly less stutter when I disable wallpaper engine. So make sure anything like that is turned off. However, I notice after a few hours, now the game does take a little bit before you have the freedom to explore the open world. I would say about 3 hours of hand holding before it opens up, and then you'll be able to roam the open world. One thing that is very persistent when it comes to the performance is the lag spike, that every time you exit a menu, there is a bit of a stutter and a lag spike. And if you take a look at in the top left corner and pay attention to the time frame, you will notice that every time I exit the menu, there is a second or two of lag spike, and then it goes back to normal. It can get pretty annoying if you are in and out of the menu a lot. So I would say wait for a patch or two before picking it up if you are still interested in the game. When it comes to the gameplay, it is actually pretty fun, and I think it's the heart of this game. The fluid, fast-paced combat and the variety of spells that you'll get to control. I found it surprising that the mouse and keyboard works really well and intuitive. If you played the PS5 demo, you know that all the spells casting was a little bit clunky, with switching between offensive and defensive spell. So I'm happy to say that with the mouse and keyboard, it works really well. You can keybind to your liking, of course, but I felt like I didn't have to do that. And of course, you can play with the PS5 controller, and it will change the prompt to PlayStation. Now, speaking of the PS5 demo, I don't think that was a very good intro to the game. Being thrown into the middle of level 15 and being a little overwhelmed with all the abilities that you have. And on top of that, you don't really have any connection with the main female lead and the cuff. And I was a little worried going into the full game that I would be a little bit annoyed with all the chatting between yourself and the cuff. But after having played the PC version for a few hours now, I can say that they are definitely growing on me, and it's actually not as annoying as I thought it would be. And I can honestly say I'm really starting to like Faye as a character, and her voice actress does a really good job of portraying her, and overall all the other voice actor does a really good job as well. Now, this game was advertised as an AMD game, so I was very surprised when I found that there is an option for DLSS, not only FSR 2.1, but you can enable DLSS, and I found that I gained a few more FPS using DLSS over FSR. Alright, so outside of the performance issue that I have mentioned, I think it's actually a pretty fun game. And if you have the patience, you can wait about 50, 60 days after release. AAA game has been going down pretty quick in price. So if you want to wait for a couple patches and pick it up for a lot cheaper, I do recommend that. As for, I think the game is really fun outside of the performance issues right now. And I don't think it deserves all the hate that it's been getting. Alright guys, that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one, which is the my Dead Space PC port impression. So until then, have a good one. See you later.